Hello and welcome to a deep dive into the Suunto 9 Peak Pro. I've really took a look at everything here, so if you have any questions, there's a good chance we've answered it. Hello and welcome to yet another exciting video, and today we're deep diving into all the software of the Suunto 9 Peak Pro. Thank you Suunto and Spike Communications for providing this watch. They haven't had a chance to review this video, and these are all my honest kind of experiences, and I've put the film together and yeah, put it out for you guys. I have really enjoyed using this watch. I'm doing the Montaigne Summer Spine Race, which is 268 miles, and it's gonna be really tough to kind of complete that. So yeah, this watch and specifically the app has really helped with keeping me motivated. I've really liked setting my duration goals, so you can set goals, for example, of like 9 hours of training per week and just try and hold the line. But yeah, this is a really long video, so I do recommend, if you're looking for a specific thing to be answered, if you look down at the time captions and just click on whatever section you need, whether you're looking to learn how to turn the touchscreen on for activities, which is a bit more complicated than it sounds, you're looking to learn more about the music controls, yeah, it's all going to be down here, so have a little look. And apart from that, hope you have a good day. Okay, so we're going to dive into the interface and using this watch. So what we have here is the home screen, and from the home screen here you can choose to customize if you want. I've chosen this one for today, but they have lots of options to change the colors, for example, or literally how the whole watch face looks. So I'll quickly just show you that now. So when you go to close the watch face, you'll literally just scroll down to watch face, and here you can swipe through and choose to pick whichever one you want. So I believe that's the watch face from the old model, and you have these different designs, so they all look kind of interesting and cool, but I actually quite like the one I've just had on, so we're going to pop that back on now. There we go. And then again, you can change the color and things, but anyway, that's the watch face. From the watch face, you'll be able to see a multitude of different kind of things. What have I got selected on there at the moment? Well, here you can see the battery life, the amount of steps, we've got the date, and we've also got the amount of time I've spent running or doing an activity for this week period, and it's 3.37 hours. With the touchscreen, you can scroll through to the next screen, which is going to show you like the notifications. You can see your battery life, the date, the time, but scrolling through, you can see your most recent notifications, and you can interact with them if you want. I'm connected to the iOS iPhone at the moment. I've got the iPhone 14, and yeah, you can look at your different notifications. So we've got the Riverford, which is the organic food company I'm using at the moment for the first time. I got a message from my good friend, which is a voice message. I've got some likes on Strava as well. So yeah, you can interact with them and clear them if you want to by clicking. So you can click on notifications and you can clear them if you want to. Scrolling through to the next widget, and we have the heart rate. So the heart rate we've got at the moment is 90 BPM, beats per minute, and that's when I last had it on my wrist. As you can see, there's a bit of a gap here. Whilst I've been laying in bed watching YouTube, and you can see there's a graph that they'll pull up to show you how your heart rate's rised and dropped over time. Would be nice to be able to scroll through that, which you can do on some other devices, and I don't think that's an option here. I haven't worked out a way to do it. You have the blood oxygen, so it will tell you the last time that you did your blood oxygen. Mine was 93% 5 hours ago, and you can choose to on-demand measure it. And if you just notice that little symbol of the mountain, it's going to show you that I'm 11 meters above sea level. But I recently went skiing up in the French Alps, and this was really useful actually, because being asthmatic, being at 3,000 meters, I was a little bit worried how my body would handle quite a lot of working out at altitude. So I checked in with it and saw how my body was able to adapt to the elevation. The next slide we have here is the calories that you've got, the steps you've got going. So this is kind of like your daily goal. This has been useful for me to try and hit my step count, to try and hit my calorie count, and yeah, it will show you the steps throughout the week. So on average, I'm hitting 10,000 steps at the minute a week, and it will show you obviously a breakdown of the day. Again, it would be nice to have a little bit more information in terms of, you know, how many steps exactly did I do on Saturday, but instead we're seeing kind of the trends as the week's gone on. And then next here we can see the calories as well, and I really like that it will show you the average throughout the week. It's been 2,900 calories that I've been burning a day. It's definitely felt like that as well. I've been very hungry recently. Yeah, 5'7" at the minute and 72 kilograms, so yeah, that's quite a lot of calories for my body and size. And it will show you, yeah, your trend. So those bigger workout days, Friday for example, where I went for it for about 3 hours, and then some less busy days like today where I'm filming and yeah, being busy doing emails and things. So yeah, that's a very cool page. So the next page is the sleep page, and you can see here that last night I got 11 hours and 30 minutes, and boy have I needed it. It's also going to show you how much sleep you got out throughout the week, and you can see how inconsistent I am. I am someone who struggles a little bit with insomnia and also napping during the day and not really sleeping much during the night. So I'm a real kind of test for a fitness watch to try and even get a lock on to me. We'll have a flick through. So last night I got 11 hours and 30 minutes. So I was 3 hours and 30 minutes above my target, and you can set whatever target you like. My sleep quality was 100%, which boy have I needed. My sleep heart rate was 69 beats per minute. I fell asleep at 9:35. Is that accurate? I'm just asking myself now. So I actually got home from the gym at maybe 9:05, and then took my watch off after I'd got into the shower. So this is where a few issues can come into play, and I have seen this Suunto watch do some interesting and random things. So I'd say, what is the accuracy like in terms of getting your duration of sleep? Probably about 80%. Most of the time it's getting you on point, but there will be some days where you look at your watch and you go, actually I was up to about midnight last night. So again, these are my honest and open just experiences of using the watch. It's got my wake up time of 10 o'clock in the morning. The wake up time, I've actually never had an issue with this. So yeah, it's more, the accuracy issues are more to do when you fall asleep rather than when you're waking up. That's always been really spot on. Even if you're sat watching on your phone, it's really aware that you're up. So time awake 0.58 hours, deep sleep 3 hours and 39 minutes, and then we've got the blood oxygen, which is really cool. And again, sleeping up in the French Alps at 2,000 meters, I know it's not super high for a lot of you, but for someone who lives below sea level and has done for their whole life and has asthma, it was a really good thing to check in with, especially when I was going up higher to do the skiing, and just check in that I wasn't experiencing things like altitude sickness. So yeah, I really enjoyed that actually. Swiping through again, so we have the activity page, how much hours of exercise you have done compared to your goal. So I set my goal when I first got this watch around 3 months ago to be at 9 hours. I wanted to complete 9 hours because I'm running the summer spine race in June. Oh boy, help me. But I thought 9 hours is the bare minimum I needed to finish this race. So yeah, what we've got here is, it's now Tuesday. I've already done 3 hours and 37 hours of exercise. Yeah, and we can see that the watch is already telling me, look, your goal was only 9 hours. You need to recover for 11 hours because you worked really hard on Monday. So I really like this page of just keeping on track of your workout and training duration. And the more I learn about sports physiology, the more I learn how important this is. So yeah, yes, it's cool to track your miles, yes, it's cool to track this and that, your intensity, but really, how much duration are you spending exercising? And especially for an event like the spine race, where it isn't about sprinting 100 meters. Yeah, you're running from the Peak District up to Scotland for what could be for me 4 or 5 days, if not longer, if I make it. So yeah, really been enjoying this page. How much exercise I've done, what it looked like throughout the week, and how much recovery is needed. So the stress recovery, I will show you a clip of what this looks like. It's basically like if you've used Garmin, it's like Garmin's body battery, or if you've got Fitbit, just kind of like a stress metric, looking at your recovery and getting all these things and compiling them together to say how much have you recovered during your night's sleep, and how much stress is your body going through at the moment. And it will tell you if you're stressed, if you're okay, just down here in the bottom. Next page is going to show you your fitness. So again, I have been training for the spine. It's been a lot of slow zone 1, zone 2 training, and at the minute I haven't been able to get this above 55 VO2 max, but at the minute my level of fitness is good for my age. It thinks I'm at around 50 VO2 max, and yeah, it's saying that I am a fitness age of 20, I think it says down there. Next page, Thermostat, your ABC if you will. Yeah, you've got your Altimeter, your Barometer, and also the temperature. So I like going in really hot showers and seeing how hot I've got the temperature on, or I was in the sauna on my holiday skiing, seeing how hot the sauna was. I even took this outside and froze it in my freezer. I took it outside into like -8 degrees in my hometown, and just saw how well the touchscreen handled the frost, and I could see the temperature on the watch. It's been really cool to play around with. And if you're into your Wim Hof, you know, cold and hot therapy contrast, yeah, I think having a thermostat now on a sports watch is a necessity. So it's good to see that's here. Again, you have got the graph of your barometer and the pressure, and you've also on this page, or this widget, sorry, got your sun and moon, so you can see when the sun's going to rise, when the sun's going to set. Next page is your timer, so you can set custom timers by going on to stopwatch, and you can set 1 minute, 3 minute, 5, or whatever minute, hour, second you want. So I don't know, maybe you need to wake yourself up after, you know, 3 hours of sleep at the spine race, and you can set a timer on here. Obviously you have the option to do alarms. Maybe you're cooking it's good to have, or I've been using actually when I'm at work, so my lunch break's 20 minutes. I can go onto this page, set a 20-minute timer, and I know during that time I do not need to move off my feet, I do not need to answer any radio calls. I'm good to just enjoy my pot noodle whilst this is clicking along. Next page is the compass page. How do you calibrate? You do the figure of 8 as you would with any digital compass. What's accuracy been like? It's Suunto. That should be enough for you to understand how good the accuracy has been with the compass. I did find when I first got it, the first few days, it asked me to calibrate the compass quite a bit. Not sure if it was like a software thing, but yeah, I have updated the software and now it's always spot on, and it doesn't really ask me to calibrate that often. What I do like about this, which is different from other watches, is that you will find that it's maybe impossible on Garmin and Kuros to get like the declination of the magnetic scale. So if you are traveling around the world quite frequently and you are dependent on accurate navigation, this might actually be the only sports watch for you, where you can actually go into the navigation options, the navigation settings, and change your magnetic declination. So we'll quickly have a look at that. Navigation settings. Here it is, look, declination, 0 degrees at the minute because I'm in the UK. This isn't a thing for me, but if we were to go travelling across the world and I needed to adjust that, I could. So really cool stuff here, really advanced navigation. You can set the degrees, the theme, and the format that you wanted. And you can also, again, if you are worried about the calibration, or you've gone traveling and you've been on a train or on a plane and pressure changes, stuff like that, you can always calibrate manually. We have routes, so you can sync quite a lot of routes onto the Suunto. This is a test that I've done, which is local to me, so it'll tell you how much kilometers it is, what the ascent is, the descent. It'll tell you the highest point, the lowest point, and the date that it was made. So we can choose to do these by selecting them, and you can either start it as an exercise, or you can, so that'll be like an activity profile, or if you're literally just looking to navigate, you just press navigate only. It's going to tell you, so my course is around 300 feet away, I believe, and it will tell you when you're on course, it'll tell you when you're off course. You can scroll across and look at the meters of elevation. Again, it's saying that I'm off route, and yeah, back on route here. You can tap the Suunto watch as well, and you can see an overview of where you are on the course. Again, this is only like a kilometre around the field that I'm next to. So yeah, the navigation features are good. There's no topo maps here in the background, but for, I don't know, maybe 80% of people, this is going to be good enough. The contrast is fantastic, and I really did notice this. I'm testing the Chorus Apex 2 at the moment, which does have topo maps, but in fact, if I were to choose one or the other, in this situation, I was really struggling to see where I was on my course on the Apex 2, because the contrast wasn't great, and the topo maps that weren't that useful anyway were making me a bit confused of where I actually was on the course. Whereas here, you just know if you're not on this blue line, you're off course. So yeah, for 80% of people, they're going to feel very comfortable having a Suunto on the wrist with that accurate compass. They're going to feel comfortable with the contrast and how easy it is to just kind of follow that line. And yeah, when you are kind of locked into your navigation, you can choose to end the navigation, you can choose to get your location. That's going to give you the GPS coordinates. I don't know the real name for that, but you know, your longitude, latitude. You've got your details, point of interest, so you can add a little point of interest if you've got like a base camp and stuff like that. I haven't had to do that, but say for the spine race, I wanted to add my checkpoints of where the aid stations were. That would be something I'd be doing. Routes again, so you can change the route and you can add your bearing when you're doing the navigation. So you point your compass wherever you want to go, whatever direction. You can lock it in. You can even add the distance and altitude of your quote-unquote target. And yeah, I haven't got that, so I'll just kind of set the bearing. And again, every time you're outside of that blue line, you know, you're deviating from your bearings. There's really cool navigational features here. It's basic, but it works, and sometimes that's what's important, rather than it being gimmicky, you know. Once you're done with navigation, again, you just go to end navigation, and end navigation, bearing, end, and it's all over. You're out of the navigational page. So yeah, that's what you can do from this widget. Again, there are other ways to access the navigation. The last page we've got here is the music controls. So when you're connected to your phone, which I'll do now. So yeah, when you're connected to your phone, it's going to tell you what the track is. It will allow you to pause. It will allow you to play. It allows you to rewind back to the beginning of the song, fast forward, or turn the volume up. And again, you can see that happening on my iPhone as well. So it's all touchscreen. You can also interact with this interface with the buttons. I have found that a bit harder to use the touchscreen when you're an activity profile. So say you're running, for example. First of all, just working out how to turn it on, the touchscreen for running, took me no word of a lie, but maybe 2 months to work it out. I couldn't see an obvious way to turn it on. I was looking for, you know, touchscreen enabled when in activity, and it wasn't in the places you'd expect, I had to go onto the battery modes and then choose best GPS, which I wanted anyway, and then put the touchscreen on, and that was a way to get the touchscreen to work during an activity profile. Not sure if I was just making that much harder than it needed to be, but that was just the experience I had. But yeah, they're the music controls, and then after that you are back to the home screen. So yeah, so obviously I've showed you all the widgets now. Now for the more exciting stuff, you have two places to go. You can go up or down. If you want to access your activities, go up. If you want to access your settings, you go down. Where we're going to go first is activities, because this is a sports watch. What Suunto's automatically going to do is they're going to upload your most frequently selected activities to like the front of the activities profile. So without you editing anything, I've not edited this, you've got them right there. So my most frequent activity is running. It's right there for me to select. Unspecified sports, so this is when I go gym and I'm just working out. I've done a little HIIT workout, some circuits, I'm lifting some weights, doing some abs. I'll set it as an unspecified sport and just work out, collect heart rate data, for example, without GPS. You can choose to put GPS on if you want. Indoor cycling, which I've been powering through at the minute. We've got the indoor rowing, which I've been trying to transition whilst I've been injured. Walking, which is I take the dogs out. Climbing, I've been going bouldering with this watch. Again, smashing this against holds and walls, and this is a really durable watch. I was saying in a message to Suunto today, actually, I am convinced this is the toughest watch on the market. Like, you can smash this thing up and it's going to look spotless. So really impressed with that. You've got the cycling with GPS. You've also got the alpine skiing, which I did that for the first time just a few weeks ago. So yeah, you can customize all these sports and make different profiles. You can see I've got a few double ones here. Badminton as well is something that I've been doing with my brother, which I showed you in the unboxing video. Let me just show you a few things with the sport profile then. As soon as you click into the sport profile, it's going to take you to this page here. Up here you can see how quick it locked onto the GPS, which was, let's face it, instantly. It'll tell you that when it's locked onto your heart rate, or when it's locked onto the heart rate strap that you've got connected, and it's going to tell you how much battery you've got. So yeah, 29 hours worth of GPS battery. I mean, yeah, it's incredible. Scrolling down, I mean, you can choose to start it here. Scrolling down, it's just going to remind you what activity mode you're in. I've got the battery mode to custom, and as I explained earlier, this is where you're going to be able to choose to make it touchscreen enabled. We'll scroll down, and if you see that what Suunto have done for you, they've made the performance mode with the GPS being the best accuracy you're going to get. But if you scroll down, I found that really odd because Suunto offer one of the better touchscreens on the market. So I think it would be nice if they gave you an easier option to turn that on. So what you have to do is go down to the custom option, which I've just done here. And then I've got the same GPS on. So I've got GPS on best accuracy. But then this is the important part. When you go to touch, make sure you've got it turned on. So yeah, once you've selected your battery mode, it's there now, battery mode custom, which means the touchscreen is on. I wish that was another option here for those users that aren't as technically minded, and even myself, who, you know, this has taken me 2 months to work out how to turn the touchscreen on. Navigation, again, this is where I explained earlier, you can upload the route here and get the navigation going. Breadcrumb trail was selected, and again, you can put the courses on, or the bearing, or whatever you fancy doing. So let's select and have a little look. Yeah, breadcrumb, point of view, point of interest, routes, bearing, snap to route, so you can choose for it to snap to route, compass, or just turn navigation off. So we'll leave breadcrumb. And you might be asking, well, you haven't got a route selected, what does breadcrumb even mean? Which is a fair question, because I couldn't tell you until I used the watch. But what it means is that when you run, so say I go off to the trails in the forest and I run a 6 mile away from my car, it's actually going to plot a breadcrumb route, a bit like the Wayfinder on the Apple Watch Ultra, the £1,000 watch. So if at any point you want to turn around and follow your breadcrumb trail back to your car, for example, you're able to do that. So it's more useful than it actually seems using the breadcrumb just for any run, because I don't think it's going to use much processing power really to create that kind of plot for you. And at any point, if you get lost, you're able to kind of make your way back to where you started. SuuntoPlus is something that took me a while to get my head around. Basically, I didn't really understand what it meant or why you needed it, but I kind of understand it now. And it's this concept where you can download very specific training profiles within your sports activity. Now that does sound confusing, but what that means is that if you want to do a Cooper's test and you're a runner, runner, for example, or if you're really focused on fat burning, you can upload these highly specific fat burning watch faces for your activity profile. So I can see exactly how many grams of fat, exactly how many grams of carbohydrate that I was burning during a running workout. So yeah, a really cool concept here. There's lots of options. It's not just for runners. There's things there for cyclists there as well, and I believe they've got things like critical speed for swimming. Yeah, a really cool thing to dive into if you're looking to get a little bit more out of your watch and a little bit more out of yourself as an athlete. So it's something that I've grown to enjoy. Heartrate zones, again, it's automatic. You can customize them if you want. Target, let's see, I've never actually used this. So you can set a duration. It's going to warn you when you've finished your run, your hour run, or you can set a target distance. So yeah, that's cooler than I expected actually. Backlight, you can turn it to always on or just have it on normal. So when you flick your wrists on normal, it's going to light up, and when you don't look at your watch, it's going to turn off, or you can just have it always on. The GPS is on, wrist heart rate is on, intervals is off, so you can make intervals. And look, you've got reps, you've got the interval duration and the recovery. So you can basically do whatever you want here. Really cool for people who are taking their training seriously. You can change the theme to have it a dark background or a white background. You've got the auto lap, music controls, which I've got turned as on, auto pause, so if you stop, the watch is going to stop as well. Again, that's very useful if you do worry about people looking at your Strava and thinking you're slow because you've taken a half-an-hour coffee break, all that good stuff. And feeling is when you finish your run, you can tell the watch how you're feeling. So let's swipe back up to the top and just get this activity started. Pressing start on the side. One thing I have noticed, there is a bit of a delay when you press start on the watch. So I've clicked it now, what, 3 seconds ago? Yeah, a little bit of a delay. It has kept the time on there, so it knew when I pressed the button, there was just a delay on you actually visibly seeing that on the screen. For runners specifically, who might be doing, I don't know, like a 50-meter sprint or something, that could get a bit annoying. For me, who's running a bit more of a longer distance, I couldn't care less. So yeah, just something for Suunto, maybe when they're looking at their 10 Peak Pro to just make that interface a little bit quicker. But yeah, you can see the distance here, you'd see your heart rate here, your pace here, and obviously the timer down here, so how far you've been running for. You also see the zone you're in, so at the minute I'm not wearing the watch, it thinks I'm at a zone you're kind of dead, and if you're at 100%, you know, going to 100%, it will flick up here, you know, you're at 200 heart rate, you're giving it zone 5, so these are your different zones on the edge of the display. So yeah, because we've got the touchscreen enabled, we're going to swipe through. Here you'll see your laps, so you'll see how far into your lap you are, and also what your average heart rate is. Scrolling again, this is the breadcrumb trail that we had selecting on, so because we've selected it, as we run, this is going to be plotted throughout the run today. Map options, and again, the reason I actually cared about the touchscreen for the runs, the only reason is because I'm a bit of a music person and I need to listen to music on my phone, so you can use the touchscreen to pause and play your tracks when you're running. You can go forwards, you can go backwards. So the volume up and volume down don't seem to be working as smooth as they do on the watch face. Yeah, you can fast forward, reverse, pause and play tracks, and that's all you really need. And then you're back to the home screen again. When you finish your activity, you'll press this top right hand button, and the buttons on this watch are absolutely fantastic. Another thing that I was just talking about before the camera died is that I did have issues with every Garmin really that I've ever owned. Just with inconsistency, where maybe the top right hand button was great but the other two felt mishy and they didn't click like the other ones. The buttons on the Suunto 9 Peak Pro, fantastic, really responsive and good buttons. When you get here, you can choose to end your workout, you can choose to discard. I was just going to discard actually, but we'll press end just to show you what the end of a workout looks like. When you do finish, you can scroll through, you can select it was a very excellent workout, you can select it was a very good workout, you can select it was average or poor. We'll go for poor, add that to our training peaks, and once it's saved, what we've got the time we ran for, our heart rate, the intensity zones, calories, VO2 max, all the information here, and then we can delete the exercise, which I'm going to do because I want to keep it. Back to the home screen now. So the last thing I'm going to show you viewers is just what happens when you scroll down, and this will be the end of our journey. So I've talked a lot about navigation here. If you do have any more questions, just leave me a comment in the video and I'll try my best to answer it. But when you scroll down and click navigation, it's just going to take you to that navigation page. Logbook is where you can see all of your activities that you've done forever. I don't know how far back this goes, but as far back as you really need to check and see what was I doing on this day, what were my metrics. And I have been working out 2, maybe 3 times a day sometimes, so it is selecting and retaining a lot of information on here, and you can dive into that and look at the workouts. This is the page you'd get if you'd finished the workout, so very similar. You can see all of your information here. So I like the logbook. That is interesting to look through. If you're bored at work and looking for time to kill, music control is going to take you to music control. This is like when you access your widgets in a quick formal fashion. When you've scrolled down, you've got your timer, you've got alarms, we've got the do not disturb, which we can turn on or off. We have the backlight, the watch face, or the settings. So with the settings, you're going to have your general settings. And if I flick through these quickly, it's just stuff like software update, time, date, power saving, personal, like your weight, your height. You can reset, you can power off from here. You've got the alarm settings where you can change your alarms if you want them on or off. What I really like about this watch actually is the ability to turn on sunrise and sunset alarms. So if you want to train like an absolute animal, like Nick Bear for example, set your sunrise alarm on, David Goggins, you'll get woken up before the sun comes up, get out there and get your miles in. And storm alerts are switched on as well. I haven't actually seen a storm alert go off, I don't think. So maybe adjusting that sensitivity would be necessary. Connectivity, you can put it in aeroplane mode, pair to sensors, look at the paired sensors you've already paired to, and turn your discovery on or off. You've got outdoor settings, so yeah, you can adjust the altitude. You've got the navigation settings. So yeah, that was when I was talking about earlier, looking at your declination, all that good stuff, what format you want it to be in. You have your activity settings where, yeah, do you want this to track your heart rate 24/7, for example? Yes, I do. And just to alliterate, the battery life has been fantastic, and I've left the all-day tracking on. I've been sleeping with it on, so really impressed with that. You can set your target step goals, your calories, and also, yeah, be notified about activity targets. So I've enjoyed being notified about you've hit your calorie goal, you've hit your exercise goal, or at the end of the week, it'll tell you, look, you've done really well, you exercised for 20 hours, or whatever it is. Clicking on to training, you can set your goal here, so I've got 9 hours, and again you can adjust that to whatever you want. So you know what, I'm feeling confident. Let's put 10 hours now. I've upgraded. Media controls and intensity zones, that's where you could have made them manually. You've got your sleep settings here. Sleep settings is where you're going to tell the watch that this is when I expect to go to sleep. And I guess this is where I've run into issues, because I could be going to sleep at 3 o'clock in the afternoon for a little nap, or I could be going to sleep at, 10 to midnight. You've got the target here, so I've got 8 hours. You can put your watch in do not disturb, and if you want to save even more battery life, I don't know why you'd need much more. I've only charged it a few times since having it for months, and then yeah, you can just turn off your blood oxygen. Notification settings, you can just turn to have them on or off, and again the watch face settings is where you're going to change the watch. So that's everything, and I hope you've enjoyed having a real deep dive into the Suunto 9 Peak Pro. So thanks for watching. You know the drill. Like, comment and subscribe if you can. My slogan, dreams are a step away. And remember, show compassion, show esteem, and have fun out there. Peace out.